The anime begins with a girl stumbling upon an unconscious human figure lying before her. Puzzled, she contemplates whether he's a human or a slime in human form. Tentatively, she reaches out and touches him. Simultaneously, the boy awakens in a panic, his gaze locking onto the girl who holds a weapon poised above him. His mind races, grappling with his surroundings and the situation. Uncertainly, he questions his location and the nature of this encounter. The girl's response is simple yet enigmatic. Everything in this world originates from drops. The boy learns that he's on a quest for these drops to earn bean sprouts, his objective intertwined with this strange new reality. Curiosity propels him to ask if he's still on Earth. The girl, her expression perplexed, mirrors his query, seeking to decipher the essence of his words. This marks the moment of realization for the boy. He's been reincarnated into an entirely different realm. The girl identifies herself as a level 1 adventurer, eager to level up through effort. She introduces him to a status board, a display reminiscent of a video game interface. Despite her novice status, her stats are far from inadequate. Upon inspecting the boy's statistics, they're both taken aback. His ranking is astoundingly low, seemingly devoid of potential for advancement beyond level 1. Astonishingly, his rank is an S, denoting unique attributes compared to adventurers graded from A to F. The girl conveys her surprise, admitting she's never encountered an S-ranked individual. Further shocking the girl, his first encounter with a slime yields an immense yield of beans, far beyond her expectations. Her astonishment is palpable. She's never witnessed such a bountiful result. In return for his bean sprouts, the girls invite Ryuta for lunch and offer him delicious soups and lentils. Ryuta realizes that in his past life, he has been devoid of such feelings of care, always working unpaid overtime. Poor Ryuta had to satisfy some of the convenience stores to find himself something to eat. He was a corporate drone and his life was merely filled deadlines rat race. One day, Ryuta collapsed during his hectic schedule and opened his eyes to this world. The girl introduces herself as Emily Brown. She informs Ryuta about the nearby town, although she lives in the dungeon due to her inability to afford a rental in the town. As time passes, Ryuta begins to develop an understanding of this world. He goes through several adventures and earns himself enough to hire a rental of 20,000 a month. Ryuta shocks Emily when he hands her the keys to the house and explains that he bought this place for her as gratitude for her soup the other day. Emily swiftly responds that she does not have any problem living with Ryuta. Therefore, he may also share this place with her, where she will cook delicious meals for him since he helped her achieve her long-desired dream. The following day, Ryuta heads over to the trading place where Erza, the girl, frequents. Making a purchase of bean sprouts for 2,000 pelins, Erza extends an invitation for a drink, which Ryuta graciously declines. Engaging in conversation, Erza informs him about a newly discovered nearby dungeon called Nihonium. Intrigued by this news, Ryuta decides to explore it. Upon his return, Ryuta is taken aback by the transformation of the once unkempt area. Emily reveals that she's dedicated her energy to cleaning and organizing the place. Curious about the new dungeon, Ryuta inquires with Emily. She mentions being aware of it but finds it unappealing due to the lack of rewards. Nonetheless, this doesn't deter Ryuta from his determination to raid the mysterious dungeon. Ryuta engages with the skeletons within the dungeon, emerging victorious. Among the spoils, he discovers a seed exclusive to S-ranked adventurers. Emily, despite having a higher level, can't acquire the coveted seeds. Despite his level 0-1 status, Ryuta manages a significant boost in HP thanks to the seed's influence. As he delves deeper into the dungeon, Ryuta's rewards shift from beans to carrots in the drops. Though some participants belittle him for his modest stats, Ryuta's attention is suddenly captured by the unexpected appearance of a bunny girl from behind. Later in the evening, Ryuta finds the bunny girl at his door. She smacks him on the head, but Ryuta's incremented HP saves him against her attack. This trembles the girl. Her strikes are hard to handle for a high-leveled adventurers, but a mere level 1 player is entirely unharmed. The bunny girl pulls out the carrot she took from the dungeon and returns Ryuta. Emily invites the girl inside for dinner and serves her with delicious meal mainly prepared with carrots. The bunny girl cannot stop herself from boasting about the meal and eats her fill. Emily's cooking surely has no match. Both Ryuta and the bunny girl cannot hold themselves from admiring her skills. Their lives have not been drastically different. When Emily had to live in the dungeon alone, Ryuta also used to live on his own. Their interaction has brought them both a presence to cherish, and none of them wants to let go of each other. The following day, Ryuta enters the Nihonium Dungeon Level 2 and comes across a zombie monster. When his spear breaks in the fight, the S-ranked HP comes into play and saves Ryuta from dying at the hand of a zombie. Upon taking down the zombie, Ryuta looks for the seed, wondering what can a level 2 seed bring to him instead. On his return to the guild, those in sight tremble on there when they witness a considerable frankness between Ryuta and the bunny girl. Beza comes, runs towards Ryuta, and offers to buy his carrots for double the price because these carrots have been liked by the most esteemed player herself. She is amongst the top adventurers with not many to challenge her. Inside the dungeon, when the disciples fail to kill the slime due to extreme exhaustion, captains come forward and kill the slime in one go. Amidst the demanding routine, the captain remains obstinate in withholding even the slightest gestures of kindness from his disciples. Instead, he brands them as feeble, compelling them to exert more effort in their endeavors. The captain's approach mirrors Ryuta's recollections of his past life manager, who relentlessly drove his team to the brink for personal gain. Amid Ryuta and Emily's mealtime, the moment unfolds with the unveiling of their meal bag. However, their dining scene is interrupted by the lively arrival of Eve, the bunny girl, who eagerly indulges in Emily's delectable offerings. The trio sequentially savors the food, immersing themselves in its flavors. Unfortunately, their pleasant mealtime is punctuated by the passing presence of the captain and his followers. These individuals cast a disparaging gaze, labeling Ryuta, Emily, and Eve as idle. Such disapproval fumes Eve. She approaches the captain in a blink of an eye, and her menacing gestures immediately drive off the captain. When Ryuta and Emily go cart shopping on Erosa's recommendation, they are baffled by the extremely high prices of the magical carts ranging in millions. They shed the idea of buying the magical cart. On their way back home, suddenly they hear a noise building in the surrounding. They hear people shouting, "Stray, stray," in panic. Upon inquiring, Emily explains how dangerous strays are. Even the esteemed adventurers don't indulge themselves in the fight against such ferocious animals. To Ryuta's surprise, Stray turns out to be a giant gorilla who is after the town. Ryuta decides to save the town and the people. He decides to face the gorilla and save his people. A few other adventurers join him while Ryuta takes on the giant gorilla, but he shocks everyone when he beats the gorilla against all the odds. Everyone in sight is in awe of the power displayed by a mere level 1 adventurer. As a reward for eradicating the gorilla, Ryuta earns himself a pistol with a handful of bullets. Intrigued by the unique rewards, Ryuta wonders how come this sophisticated reward exists in the first place. Ryuta decides to imply the pistol in the Nihonium dungeon. The pistol appears to be quite useful against the zombies, and Ryuta easily eradicates a group of zombie monsters. Later, when he helps Emily with the precise bullet shots, Emily expresses that even she has never come across such a reward in her life. Since Ryuta has been constantly climbing the ranks ladder, he invites Emily to the next ranked dungeon. Amidst their adventures, both Emily and Ryuta ponder why they have not come across Eve despite carrying a handful of carrots for her. Hoping that she may swing by the house later, they decide to keep carrots for her. Emily serves Ryuta with deliciously cooked servings. Ryuta cannot stop himself from acknowledging Emily's fine cooking skills. He believes Emily is the best chef around. When they approach the higher level of the dungeon, they are challenged by the creepy cockroach monsters. Killing these monsters will help them earn pumpkin rewards, which can be traded for higher values than the carrots. Emily cannot control her rage when she faces the cockroaches. Her aura changes dramatically, and the red flaring eyes chock a terrifying sight for Ryuta too, who comes for a way to bring her back to normality. Upon eradicating the monsters, Emily apologizes for her inability to handle her rage toward the monsters. Ryuta inquires others about the presence of cockroaches outside the dungeon. She reveals that unattended drops can lure the monsters outside the dungeon too. Captivated by the revelation, an idea tongs Ryuta, and he decides to imply the brainchild to earn bullets in return. His assertions prove true as the drops turn into bullets immediately. Ryuta uses a similar kind of trick and uses the monsters in the dungeon as strays to increase the rewards. He succeeds again in the trick, and this time the reward is even more satisfying. Ryuta has earned himself freezing bullets. After the epic downpour, both Ryuta and Emily eventually make their way home, only to encounter an ominous man accompanied by a woman. The woman desperately attempts to explain her struggles with bringing a cart down from a hitch. but her explanations fail to convince the man. His demeanor remains unyielding as he pressures her to resolve the situation promptly. Unbeknownst to them, the man has fallen under the sway of malevolent forces, manipulated by their formidable powers. The woman implores Ryuta for assistance, urging him to journey to a nearby village and gather reinforcements for her rescue. However, Ryuta rejects this notion. Driven by a desire to redefine himself in this new life, he aims to project strength and determination, a man capable of transcending his past limitations to safeguard those in need. Ryuta and Emily display a well-coordinated attack and eradicate not just one or two, but a considerable number of family monsters. The adventure does not seem to stop for both Emily and Ryuta, as now they face a rare yellow monster. Against Emily's expectations, the monster drops a rare necklace, which can help the adventurer boost the attack to 200%. Emily happily accepts the gift and lashes on monsters. Her vehement array of attacks earns them a heap of bamboo shoots. However, when Ryuta carries the items to Erza, she appears hesitant to accept the relatively low-demanded item. A woman from behind calls Ryuta and asks for the bamboo shoots. The taste of the items mesmerizes her. She can't help herself buying all of Ryuta's possessions for 20,000 pilos. The surprise does not end here for Ryuta. Erza maintains that the lady he just traded with is Eric Macy, and she is amongst the most esteemed adventurers. Since Eric has bought the bamboo shoots, Ryuta's brought bamboo shoots will certainly be very high in demand. Erza offers him a contract, implying Ryuta to sell the bamboo only to her, and Ryuta promptly agrees to do business with her. Back inside the Neonium, Ryuta crosses paths with a clan led by Princess Margaret herself. Her aide reveals that the princess is here on the hunt for mysterious monsters which do not yield anything but air. Airboxes sold under Princess's name are very high in demand in Sakaro. What grabs Ryuta's entire attention is their magical cart. This realizes him the dire need for the magic cart for them as well. Ryuta proposes that they must focus on buying the cart first and then think about changing the place. Emily seconds his opinion, and they head for the cart shop hoping that they may see the cute-looking Olga. However, when they approach the shop, they find young Olga vehemently crying for her father, who did not return from the arsenic dungeon nearby. Ryuta and Emily go in search of her father inside, only to find him sleeping inside the dungeon. The old man reveals that he came here in search of light rocks, which are specifically found in the dungeon. Ryuta helps him get on one of the rocks with the help of a frozen bullet. Pleased by Ryuta's help, the old man gifts them with a magical cart in return. Upon Ryuta's arrival at Erza's shop to conduct trade for goods, he stumbles upon a precarious situation. Erza finds herself confronted by an individual who threatens her, demanding a higher payment for his items, and warning of destruction if his terms aren't met. Despite her attempts to explain that the goods don't hold a value greater than her offer, the man remains unyielding, poised to carry out his threat. As the tension escalates, the man advances with intent to carry out his threat against Erza. In the nick of time, Ryuta intervenes using his frozen bullets skillfully to thwart the impending attack and rescue Erza from harm's way. To confirm the value of the goods, Ryuta employs his magical cart, which verifies Erza's assertion that the items are indeed worth no more than 8,400 pilos. However, this verification fails to deter the man's resolve. He now directs his aggression toward Ryuta. Undeterred, Ryuta faces the confrontation head-on. Responding with a calculated and precise punch, he skillfully sends the man tumbling against the wall, effectively putting an end to the immediate threat. Later, Erza thanks Ryuta for saving her. She leans closer to him and kisses him on the cheeks for saving her life. On the flip side, Ryuta and Emily seem to have developed quite an understanding. Using the magical cart, they transport a mammoth number of items for trade and earn themselves enough money to buy a new and even luxurious house.